Hey everyone, Shamrocked here with another boss guide for you. This time this video is going to be covering Liu Flameheart, who is the third boss in Temple of the Jade Serpent. This boss can be a little bit tricky depending on your tank. I would say this is probably one of the most tank responsible boss fights there is in the current rotation of Mythic Plus dungeons. So because of that, I would strongly advise that before the dungeon starts, or at least before the pull, better before the dungeon though, so you don't have to waste time talking, to just ask them which sets of Jade Serpent strikes that they're going to need help on. Specifically, you should be asking them which set they want you to use Slink on, just because that's really your only super effective cooldown that you have for this type of fight. So funny story, I actually did ask the tank that before this dungeon started, and they told me they were pretty confident. They're like, hey, I won't need really any help, just play it by ear, support me, but I can pretty much handle it on my own, which was great to hear at the time. But you're gonna see when you watch this video that was completely not the case. Actually, the reason I pulled this video and not one that went maybe a little bit more smooth is because this tank needed so much help, and I wanted to show you guys that you can literally just sit there and spam your heals and you'll be able to heal them through it. Usually in my experience, I've usually had tanks who are able to immune one of the strikes, or have a couple of sets where they are able to sort of heal themselves back up, where they really don't take a lot of damage, or there's a lot that they can do. This pretty much every Jade Serpent strike, I feel like I had to spam heal this guy, which was fine. Like I said, it was fine. We still did it successfully, but usually that won't be the case. I feel like you'll have a tank who can handle it a bit better. That being said, I'm not calling this tank bad at all. They were fine. It's just this fight, it was a little bit unexpected based on what they told me at the beginning, but it's all good. We got through it. Some general tips for this boss: be standing as far back as you can, so that you can avoid the waves easier. I actually didn't stand as far back as I probably should have, just because I feel like I'm a little bit used to this fight and I'm not so nervous about the waves anymore. But if the waves, if you find yourself getting caught by the waves a lot, then the solution to that is just stand further back so you have more time to move away from them. First phase, pretty simple. Whenever she casts the Serpent Strike, the Flame Serpent Strike, all you have to do is dispel it from the tank. It's really simple, right? Just like that. Best to do it so that no ticks go off, so as soon as you see it on their frame, dispel it. That being said, if one or two ticks do go off, it doesn't do that much damage. This phase is really easy compared to the next one. Just a note, I did put, I'm using a spell tracker on the top left of the corner there, so you can see what I'm casting in the order I'm casting it, if that helps you out. However, I can pretty much guarantee it's mostly just going to be healing surges, maybe some riptides. Okay, any DPS cooldowns you have, save for this phase. If you're going to be using trinkets or anything to augment that as well, just pop it on the phase and then go ahead. If you do pop it at the beginning of the phase, your trinkets and your racial, you will have them for the first Jade Serpent strike. And you'll see what I did there. I just did healing surges. I popped a Spirit Walker so I could move away from the wave that was coming at me. Riptides just to get some instant healing, as well as proc tidal waves for the extra crit chance, and then finished off with some more healing surges. And you'll see it's pretty much very, very similar for each and every set. One thing I try to do, and I was successful there, is try to pop Lava Burst before you start spamming healing surges, just because it's going to give your first healing surge that extra 20% healing. And always try to put Healing Rain on the tank before the Jade Serpent strike comes out, just so that they get the Deluge talent that you can, so your healing does extra. I actually popped Slink here. The tank was yelling at me to do it, and then I ran up to lend my health to help him out, and I ended up dying from the wave, which was my own fault. I just kind of fell behind and didn't get out of the way in time. Thankfully, I had Reincarnate up, so it wasn't that big of a deal, but just make sure that if you are going to help the tank with your Slink, if you're going to lend your health, then you need to be ready to run away from the wave really quick. Alright, this set I popped Ancestral Guidance, and then once again, I'm just spamming healing surges with a Riptide every now and then to proc tidal waves. Ancestral Guidance, other than Slink, is probably the only cooldown that's gonna help noticeably in this fight. Unfortunately, Ascendance it's not going to do a whole lot. That being said, you should still use it because every bit will help, as I did use it for this set here. And then Healing Tide, once again, like it's better than nothing. Also, having a Cloud Burst down as well will help out. Like you can use that burst of healing. It'd be better if you could time it so that it pops by itself, so that you don't have to worry about it and you can just keep spamming Healing Surge, but that may be a little bit hard to do. So just like I said, do whatever works for you. It's literally standing there spamming Healing Surge will work. You just need to be careful of the wave and need to make sure you don't get hit by that. You also need to watch your mana. I thankfully still had a mana pot, and I actually had mana tide as well. I probably was just so focused on healing this tank that I didn't even realize. Oh, there you go. I just used both. But yeah, if you are in a situation like this where you need to spam the tank like so much, you are gonna be struggling with your mana. So just be aware of that. Like I said earlier, though, usually a tank will be able to, you know, immune a set, or they'll be able to help you out a little bit more than this guy was. All right, and then last set, pretty easy. Just a few tips, like stay away from the tank because the Jade Serpent Breath will like 100% one-shot you, as well as anybody else. So hopefully the tank is kind of staying in one spot and moving as little as possible. But if they do happen to come and point it in your direction, just make sure you move out of the way. Otherwise, those little green circles, well actually kind of big green circles that come on the ground, they're really hard to see, so make sure you're watching for them because they're just like a very faint green color. Right there's one on the top right that they're moving out of. But other than that, if you can get past that second phase from 70% to 30%, this is pretty much a free kill. It's just, you know, getting there. That's the struggle. It's really going to be dependent on your tank and whether or not they can handle that much damage, but it also, like as I've proven in this video, you can stand there and spam all you need to, and you can definitely help the tank out if they're not able to mitigate as much as you know some other tanks that I've seen are able to. But yeah, that's it. It's really it's not a tough fight in terms of like understanding and simplicity. It's really just about pumping out as much throughput as you can on a single target. Which, you know, if we were able to go out and talent and, you know, change your talents mid-dungeon, this would be a lot easier. But because you can't, you really just need to use what you have in your repertoire, which would be Healing Surge, Riptides to proc Tidal Waves, make sure Healing Rain's down and Riptide is on the tank so that you're proccing the Deluge talent, which is 20% healing increase. Make sure you always keep Earth Shield on them because that's another healing increase. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Another thing you could do that I didn't really mention, and I may have done it, but I don't think I did. Instead of using a Healing Surge for the first one, what you could do is pop Primordial Wave on the tank before the Jade Serpent Strike comes out. Then use Lava Burst to proc Master of the Elements, and use your first spell as a Healing Wave, because that's going to proc another 60% Healing Wave cleave from the Primordial Wave, and then go right into your Healing Surges. But yeah, and just make sure you use your trinket. So I use my trinket and my racial to help with DPS, but you can absolutely save those for healing the tank. They will just, you know, make your heals a little bit stronger. And just make sure, once again, very important, that you communicate with your tank before the dungeon starts and ask them which sets they're going to need help on. If this video has taught me anything, if they say, don't worry about it, I don't need any help at all, it's a little bit sus, so just, you know, try to stay on your feet and keep a clear head in case you do need to help them out. But normally I'll have tanks that'll say like, you know, please use Slink on the third Jade Serpent, I should be fine for the others, or you know, something along those lines. So anyways, good luck if you find yourself in here. This fight is doable, and I'm going to try to make a video on the next boss very shortly. So anyways, take care.